Welcome back to the channel, everybody. I'm Trevor with Make Your Experiment, and today we're going to be talking about craft shows. Let's get into it. My wife and I recently did 2 different craft shows, and I want to walk through our lessons learned and kind of our experience. I am not new to craft shows. I used to do them when I was a kid with my parents. They still do them and they still go to them. But I do think it's important to kind of walk through what we did for us because we had no real plan. We did one back in like May timeframe that was outdoors for a fundraiser. It was kind of like an ad hoc thing. Didn't put a lot of effort into it. And then that spawned the idea to do another one, which we were ill prepared for. So this one, we did 2 different craft shows. One was indoors, one was outdoors. One of the craft shows was right after Thanksgiving. The other one was like the first or second week of December. So the weather definitely plays a part in this story. So craft show number 1, we did a shared booth with 2 other families as a fundraiser for our kids' gymnastics team. This one was outdoors at a park, and they have a parade that they do that gets a lot of attention from the local community. So we thought it'd be really good. Now, lesson learned, the parade was not near the craft show. It was very cold outside, and those people didn't necessarily come to the craft show itself. They came to the parade and then they left right after the parade. It didn't do super well. I think once we sold everything that we sold, it was really 2 families of the 3 really had all the stuff that sold. I'd say about half of the sales was us, half of the sales was another family, and we still split it 3 ways to be fair to everybody that put the work in. And when we go into that, I think we made maybe $80. So it wasn't really worth doing when you split it that way, when you don't have a lot of sales and it doesn't go very well, frankly. A couple lessons learned out of that one were, 1, we didn't display pricing very well, and we didn't really mock up a booth setup before we got there. It was very kind of ad hoc, 3 different families doing 3 different things, kind of coming together and trying to make it work. I don't know that that's probably the best way to do a craft show. 2, we didn't prepare for the environment. It was very cold. We had jackets and things like that, but we didn't really think about how cold it was going to get. So we had to go to the local store that we could walk to get extra gloves, extra socks for the kids. So at the end of the day, I'd be surprised if we made any money because we didn't really do it well. Another thing that we didn't do during that show is we did kind of tally how much of a particular item we sold, but we didn't really write it down and track how much each item was or anything like that. So at the end of the day, when we went to split the money, it was all, here's how much money we ended with, here's how much was put in, and then we kind of tracked digital sales separately. But it wasn't, I couldn't tell you, frankly, how much we ended up selling at the end of the day, and we probably should have tracked that better. So show number 1, lessons learned. I don't know that I'll ever do that show again because it was very cold. It was outdoors in November. And from talking to other vendors near us, they said that show is never really great, that there are other ones that are better, that are actually indoors on separate weekends. So probably won't do that one again. We took some of the lessons learned and we did a craft show the weekend right after. It was a little too soon for a couple reasons. Now, one thing that worked out for us was my wife and I didn't take everything we made to the first show. So we had some of the stuff built up for the second show and enough to sell, which was good. So one of the lessons learned for me was I actually took a notebook, and I have that notebook here, that everything we sold, I wrote down every single item, how much the item was, and then right next to it, I had the running total as we went so I could track progress throughout the day. I found that this was very helpful because I could kind of tell like how much we were making, what, was working well, what wasn't working well. I actually have a record of exactly which items sold so that I know which ones did well, which ones didn't, because that can maybe help us next time into which ones we might want to make more of and which ones we probably don't need to make any of. Another thing we did was we put up chalkboards and used a chalk marker to write down all the prices so that it was very visible. People could see it right away. There wasn't a lot of wondering or questioning. And I didn't get people picking up an item, seeing the price and being like, oh no, that's not for me, and then put it down. It kind of gets your hopes up. So displaying the prices actually helped a lot for us to where people came in, they already saw it, they knew, and it eliminated a lot of questions too, which was better for us. We also set up the booth at the first craft show where all the tables were kind of at the front. There weren't a lot of people there anyway, so it didn't really matter. Now the second show, we did it more like an L shape, and we put the indentation of the L further in, so people had to walk into the booth, and it actually kind of invited them in, and that worked really well. So I think next time we'll mock up a couple of different options in our house to see what we like and what we don't like. What I really wanted to do with this video was share 5 lessons that we learned along the way. Number 1 was the smaller, lower priced items are really what sold the best. We sold a lot of $5 and $10 items, or even $2 items that we had, and that made up the majority of our sales. I think we only sold one thing that was over $10, and we had quite a few things that were over $10. What I saw was people are much more likely to part with less than 10 bucks than they are to spend more than $10. They don't think about it as hard, and they don't think about it as long. And we actually had a few people that said, oh, it's only $5, why don't you get both of them? Versus the one next to it that was $20, and they're like, $20 is too much, but you can get these 2 that are $5. Yes, we made less money, but we did still make a sale by having those lower priced items. Number 2 is know your audience. And you're really selling to them, you're not selling to yourself. So there were things that I liked at our booth, we didn't sell a single one. There were things that we really thought about the area and where we live and what they would like, and we sold a lot of those types of items where we said, hey, we want to have a bunch of nativity scene stuff because the environment we're in, a lot of people like that. And we sold probably 15 or 20 different types of nativity scene things, which did really well. The other thing that we did was we made paint your own ornament kits, and those sold really well too because teachers use them as activities for their kids, so they bought multiples of those and not just one. We actually had one person buy 8 of those kits, which worked really well. We actually sold out of all but one. And I think I had like 19 total. So those did really well. Number 3 is make sure you have a way to collect card payments. So I had this anyway, but in the first show, the person that was collecting the money didn't have one set up and had to set one up. And I made sure that I had it ahead of time for the next show because I don't use cash typically. A lot of people I know don't carry cash. A lot of people use cards. And I would say 90% of the people that bought stuff at our booth paid with a card. So make sure that you have a way to take card payments. I used to have the old card, square like swipe reader. They do have like tap to pay now on the app that works with your phone. So we did do tap to pay and it worked just fine. Number 4 is we had a bunch of products that had the kid as the primary consumer of the item. So think 3D printed items, little animals. We had the paint your own ornament kits. Those really sold the best. And the parents were more likely to buy those, particularly this time of year, because you could use them as stocking stuffers. So we had a bunch of people buy them as stocking stuffers for children, and they were less than $10. So it was kind of like the best of both worlds. Having something that kids like, but also things that adults like, I think helped our booth overall. It wasn't just products for one or the other. We had both. Number 5 is have somebody that can help you at the craft show, because you might need to go to the bathroom, you might want to go get food. But the thing that I found the best out of this situation is when you have a helper, especially if it's your spouse or somebody that's in business with you or whatever, you can go walk around the other booths and see how they set them up and decorate them and see how they, do the tiered level of visuals. We had all of our stuff flat on a table. Seeing other people, they had like walls that they built up where they displayed their product and you could see it from, 20 feet away. You couldn't do that with our stuff. So lessons learned is, having more tiered visuals so that people can see it from further away and they don't have to all come into the booth to see things. They might see it from a distance and then come over because they like what they saw. So take that into consideration as well. A few things I wish we had done is, one, I wish we had mocked up how we were going to set up the booth ahead of time, so I wasn't trying to figure it out on the fly. I felt very anxious about it when I was doing it because I didn't know how to set things up. I think I rearranged 10 times. Number two is we definitely prepped last minute. It was not our intention. We had every intention of doing it ahead of time, but life got in the way and we just didn't do well. You need time to prep for your craft show and you need to be organized about it. I went in to set up the craft show with like 40 different containers of stuff. And afterwards, now we just went and bought bigger totes that we can put all the stuff in and carry, 3 or 4 big totes instead of 40 different little containers. The third thing I really wish we had was a way to do on-site customization, because I think that would do really well. Now, you can do that with a paint pen or things like that, kind of the old school way of customizing, because my parents used to do that. But I do think having on-site laser engraving would be really cool because, one, people can see the laser working and it's kind of a way to attract them. Two, you can customize things like jewelry, ornaments, a variety of different products and materials. And I think that would work really well. So we are looking into, hey, how can we do a on-site engraving and what that would take and what that would cost. My machinery is a little bit too big to make that really portable, and it would really be cumbersome and kind of a pain. So looking at a smaller, more compact version that is lightweight and doesn't cost a lot of money. So we'll see what comes out of that one. The other thing that you need to make sure you do is set up your tents and things at home, especially if they've been in storage for a while, to make sure that they're clean, to make sure you don't have any tears or rips or things like that. One of the tents we had a broken area and it didn't work really well. So, just make sure that you do check your setup before you go to a show to make sure everything's good to go. Overall, we'll probably do a craft show again. We are going to look into it. I did enjoy spending time with my wife and prepping for them. So it was a good way to spend time with my family that kind of brought my laser stuff together with what they were doing with soap and other stuff. And it made it more enjoyable. And I think we kind of lost that joy a little bit recently with kind of videos and it not doing well and other things that have been going on. So overall, we will probably do another one. I think it'll be fun. We just need to look at kind of what we want to do in the future. Hopefully this has been helpful. If you do have any questions about craft shows and what we've done, again, I've seen them since I was a kid. And I'll be honest, we just didn't put a lot of effort into these like we probably should have. But I also saw other people that put in a ton of effort. And I can give some, perspective on what I saw. So if you have any questions or comments, put them in the comments below. I would be happy to talk about anything that we did. If you like the video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications so that you know when we come out with new videos. Be sure to check out @MakerExperiment on all my social media channels. But I want to thank you for taking the time to watch this video, and I will see you in the next one.